Hey, good afternoon. It's Mel. So this week, again, we have the summary from the meeting that I usually attend every Saturday morning. So if you download it, I'll include it in the link beneath this video, but if you go ahead and download it and you take a look at it, it opens in this interactive PDF player. If you've already downloaded some of the previous ones, and you kind of know. Even if you don't attend these meetings, I think you'll find a couple of things of value here. One is the format that we're using, and I'll post another blog post in the future about how I actually do these mind maps. I've been asked several times about which product I use. There are many out there, but I'll share in that blog post a dedicated one for my mind mapping and how I kind of put together and some of the different ways I use it. Anyway, today's meeting, I just want to point out a couple of things. When you open it up, of course, you probably already know that many of these links are interactive. You can click and just kind of hold the button a little bit and then just drag it over after the cursor turns into a hand. But some of these folks here are great people to follow, so just click their link on their name, and that'll open up right to their profile, and just click the follow button there. All right, so those are some of the cool folks to follow. Some of the other key things, if you are in Orange County, California, some things coming up in the next week from this post here today. Social Media Day is coming up on the 30th, of course, and we're doing a big blowout here in Orange County in conjunction with the Orange County Register and the Social Media Mastermind in Orange County. So take a look at that. There's a link I provided there so you can RSVP to that. A friend of ours is also hosting a July 4th barbecue at his place. You're invited. So apparently, just go ahead and go to this site, eavsc.eventbrite.com. You must RSVP for that. Bring your own beef, bring your own beer, but he's got the venue, he's got the Wi-Fi, and he's got the place. So we'll be doing that on the 4th of July. A friend of ours, Lauren Nason, is also hosting an Orange County WordPress meetup. So if you go to meetup.com and search for OCWP, you'll be able to find that there. An interesting topic that we had today, and I won't dwell too much here, but basically it comes up a lot. Who's profiting and who's monetizing social media in our group? And you'll probably have some of these kinds of discussions in your own groups when you're talking to different people. How are you actually monetizing social media? Is it just an activity to create content, give things away for free, and get a lot of relationships and build a lot of contacts and build a lot of followers? For a friend of ours, she's in the process of creating an ebook, and she does her business in social media. So she helps clients with social media programs. Of course, many of you know that I already do some licensing with my content and so on, create an ebook, and there's also some white labeling things that I'm doing with some of the programs, not the least actually of which is a Social Media 101 course. Link bait, you can take a look at that. But basically that generated some just sidebar discussions about how to structure your content and your messages in a way that encourages people to click through, whether it's an email that you send out to folks or it's a blog post header or something like that. How do you encourage people to click through and actually read the post? And link bait might be a derogatory term for really what is conceptually just a tactic or technique that nothing sinister necessarily. It's just basically how do you structure your messages in a way that could be compelling for other folks, okay? And then some of the other things that we talked about here, you can take a look at some of those. And then we also have this section we call dumb questions. Basically gives an opportunity for folks to ask. They're not necessarily they're not at all dumb questions, but some folks may think that they have a dumb question. And of course, we try to create an environment where we say that no question is a dumb question. And so different people talked about, posed some of their questions out there. And one of the things that came up was some screencasting technologies. Of course, you know that I use Camtasia for Macintosh, is my preferred my preferred software, and some folks also talked about Screener and Jing projects. There's something for you to take a look at there. And then finally, there's this little section here called Video Hosting Solutions, which was actually one of the last topics that we talked about today. And our friend of mine, Stacy, was talking about some content that some video content that she's looking to host, not necessarily to put on Vimeo or Vidler, because if you've used those services before, you know that you can't actually put anything there for commercial purposes. So, so she was looking for some hosting platforms, and she was kind enough to share one of these. It's called Digital Content Center. It's not something that I'm personally using, so I can't vouch for it. And by the way, none of these things that is on this page is necessarily an endorsement. But it's just, these are just the services and vendors and products and strategies and tactics that we talk about on a week-by-week basis. But that's something to take a look at if it's something that you're also thinking of doing. I use Amazon S3 as my repository for a lot of the content that I develop. And then I use an extension of their service called CloudFront that actually helps get the content distributed out throughout the world. in a way that the person accessing that content can get to that content in a very quick manner. And while it may look daunting initially, it really isn't as bad as you might think. All right, anyway, so those are some of the key things that we all talked about. Of course, all of this content here is under Creative Commons, by attribution, what is this? Non-commercial, share alike. So feel free to go ahead and use all of this content, and hope it benefits you and your friends. All right, take care. This is Mel-Aclaro. I'll talk to you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.